Touch that booty. That's a ritual. That's a ritual. So you want to get that. You want to get that hemp seed oil to catch the melanin. To catch the melanin, and that heals like crazy too. You see. Give me some questions right quick. Yeah, it's interesting you said that. Now focus on this. Look, this is what we got to start doing. You got a dog and a puppy. All kind of eras go by. The dog and the puppy just out there still just eating Alpo and all kind of shit passing by. Because that's what it is. It's not tuned to go and be a part of certain things that go down. Well, you got to stop being like the dogs and the puppies when certain things go down. You got to tap in. You got to tap in. Now, I ain't trying to talk down or whatever, but I want to show you something. You need to go to 2. 1 is leaving in a week. This is not by mistake. You said that. I'm glad you said that. This is the King Tut exhibit. Now, this is going to be here till May. This is the China's terracotta army. This was a black emperor. You see what I'm saying? This is the first emperor of China. The terracotta army is still at High Museum, so I think it's leaving on the 18th. But the King Tut is going to be there till May. Y'all got to go by and see it. You can't just be sitting around. And let me tell you something. I say, white people are 20 years ahead of us. They done been to the exhibit 3-4 times. You go up in that exhibit, they got everybody in the elementary school running around up in there, except us. Now, we the conscious people, and niggas ain't went yet. Go see this shit. This one is going on 18. I would suggest you go see both. Because what happened was I went up in that baby, and they had the terracotta army, and I went up in there, and I told them motherfuckers to rise. I told them to rise. And we headed out to the Chinese restaurant. We went to the one that sells the traditional Chinese. What's the name of that thing? On Chester Bridge Road. What's the one that come to me in a minute? Linda. Went to the traditional Chinese restaurant, Hong Kong Harbor. So after we went to I stood in, because they have the exhibit and they was all around there. Then they all go in another room to go see some. I stood back, I said, look, rise. Go get the movie, the last mummy movie. And they showed them terracotta warriors come to life. I told her, I said, look, get up off your ass and rise. This is Atlantis. Rise. It came about a week. It came 2 days after the King Tut exhibit. So we went to that exhibit, then we went to a Chinese restaurant, and I didn't eat none of the new stuff. I said, before I eat any of the rest of the stuff, I said, give me some egg drop soup. Brick told me to get the egg drop soup first. Don't get none of the other stuff, because that could be some new stuff. Although this is the traditional shit here at Hong Kong Harbor on Chester Bridge Road. It's the most traditional one you can get. And I took that egg drop soup, and when I took that egg drop soup and I sipped that egg drop soup, I went into another dimension like I was in another era after coming out of this terracotta army. Now, the King Tut exhibit, I think the Sister Tracy went up in there and stood before Aknator and had an experience and come to find out that she was one of his daughters. So what's happening here is you can meet the ancestors head on. But don't be cheap. Go to these damn exhibits. You know what I'm saying? What's that?
I just took an African school there yesterday. And racism is well and alive. We were not allowed to have a guided tour that we brought who were scholars. They told us that we could not talk and our children could not take notes.
Oh yeah, well naturally. That's why naturally. They ain't gonna, because they know what time it is. But that's why I just go incognito.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't even respect them, And we went to Hawass. Hazahi Hawass. They had a thing, he was supposed to be here 1 week he had to stay for some conference and came the next week, and they had to rent out the Fox just to bring him here. Now the one thing about it here is it's just crazy, because they talking about digging up. They say we getting ready to dig up. We think we know what Akhenaten's thing is. We gonna dig up Akhenaten. We gonna dig up Nefertiti. We gonna dig. I'm like, damn, when is enough enough? You're gonna desecrate the damn bones of these people. When is enough? They say they plan to dig up every mummy known to Kemet. And I'm like, well, you wouldn't dare do that if somebody said dig up all the damn presidents, or even dig up them. If somebody even you can't even damn have a picture of fucking Muhammad. They don't even allow you to even put him. He don't even supposed to have a human face. How they revere him, but yet they want to dig up all the stuff because they Arabs. And like Dr. Ben said, it ain't their culture, so they don't give a damn. You see what I'm saying? What's that?
Well, one of the reasons they were saying as far as them digging up the mummies, because in the movie in King Tut, I don't know if you remember, but they said the bodies, the mummies are in Emory.
Yeah.
They're looking inside the bone marrow of the mummies for the cures to disease. What do you think about that?
No, what they're doing is they eat that shit.
Yes, they do.
This is an old ritual.
Yeah.
They used to eat the mummies, they call it bitterman. They used to eat that shit. They ain't no fucking cures. What they doing is that they trying to become immortal.
Exactly.
And so what they doing is digging up those things. They tell you some cure shit. You know, that's their justification. What they do is they go and they take the DNA and they eat that shit. You see what I'm saying? Trying to become immortal. They used to grind up mummies and eat them in the 1800s. Right after when they first discovered, right after Napoleon and stuff and all. So they used to do all that and stuff, you know, and eat that. It's also in that book Black Sun by Peter Moon, the Bitterman and stuff. So they dealing with on a whole nother aspect on the stuff that they did with just Ramesses' mummy alone, with 40 labs doing research on something. They're doing this stuff on a whole nother level. They're trying to get to the jump to the God level and can't do it. So they want to try to find every last one of them they can do and stuff. You see what I'm saying? And they especially want Akhenaten stuff. You see what I'm saying? They especially want Akhenaten. So I'm going to show you something right quick. Let me show you this. You can go on the website and pull this off. See if I can find this right quick. So that's why they're doing it. You know damn well, these people, you know, these people don't bit more, you know, care nothing about no disease or whatever kind of thing. You see, they got human cloning now. They can get them a new body. They ain't worried about that and stuff. You see what I'm saying? Now, one thing that Dr. Goss did say about, you know, they just reenacted this stem cell stuff. And they said that's a plus, but like Dr. Goss had said, and the sister Shakira called me from she lives in Phoenix now, and the sister told me that Dr. Goss said that the whole stem cell thing is black babies. They said that white women don't produce the type of stem cells that they can work on. They might have a stem cell to give them another whatever. They say them stem cell shit that they're working on, they ain't dealing with some offspring, they're dealing with the real DNA. And they're dealing with the DNA of especially the African Americans and the Caribbeans in the West. You see what I'm saying? So they're saying that whole research thing, that stem cell, they say the only stuff that work as far as them, that they can be able to research and for whatever disease or whatever type of God gene that they kind of look for, it's only in the black babies. So just keep that in mind, you see what I'm saying? So, you know, when Bush shut that thing down, you know, with the holy rollers and stuff like that, that's one thing, but they did say that one of the things is that the stem cells, the ones that they're concerned about and the things that actually work can only come from the black woman. You see, and black babies. Y'all all right?
Yeah.
Give me some more questions right quick. Let me see. Okay.
How does that tie into Octomom? You know, that thing.
Well, that whole thing, yeah, well.
That just seems like a.
I don't know. It's just a bad trip gone bad. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know.
What's his question?
Octomom, the woman that had the 8 children and stuff like that.
But
You
she
know.
has no money. I know that procedure takes money because that was all, you know, artificial.
Well, it's any kind of experiment. See, there's things where you can get, you know, you can do a lot of things if you allow experiments done on you. So you can do things and go the guinea pig route and you can get things done for free. So it can be some old monster stuff that's going on with that whole thing.
And see, that was happening that was at Kaiser out there And Kaiser's been doing that for years, especially Kaiser out there in L.A. They've been doing that for years with the black girls and the Hispanic women.
Yeah.
They had a whole program set up where they were, when the girls would come in to have their checkups if they were pregnant, they would come in, they would terminate those pregnancies and tell the girls that they, aborted. So they've been doing that.
Yeah, see, it's it's all, so, like I said, it's, any kind of experiment that, they're going to get down with on that level. Give me some more questions? Yeah.
Brother Hemmitt, what do you feel as far as all these movies coming out, as far as the spaceships and all of that, the data Earth still going?
Right.
But the thing with the movies, what we're telling our students at school, now they're whitewashing it. So when you see people come on the ships.
Well, right. The data Earth stood still. They was trying to reverse something. The first movie said, we're going to come to destroy you if you don't have your wicked ways. Earth was going to be a burned out cinder. So the second one, they reversed it. They put Will Smith's son up in there, and they were about to kill the Earth. And then he looks at Will Smith's son is about to die, and he reverses it and kills Will Smith's son and then leaves the Earth. So that was a ritual to reverse. You see what I'm saying? To reverse. Now the movie Knowing, the movie Knowing, they basically try to set themselves up into the hereafter. Remember, it was the last, in the movie, the only person survived was but it was a little white boy and a little white girl running through the field of weeds. Anytime you see wheat and corn and weeds or reeds, that's called a heaven paradox. We're going to get into that in a few minutes. So that's what that whole thing was about.
And have you seen the Witch Mountain movie with the rock in it for children? I took my children to see that too. And it's the whole thing, the whole science of the aliens, and they all white.
Well, yeah, that's and it's interesting how at the turn of the decade, with the Matrix and all that, because they didn't know they was going to be around, all that became black. You see what I'm saying? With Blade, Larry Fishburne did one, Event Horizon. He the head of the ship.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? The whole Matrix thing. You see, so it all became black. You see, it all became black. And so once they got a little cocky after they got into the millennium, and they found out they was going to still be around, then you see, then they started reversing all that stuff as far as these rituals. You see what I'm saying? For the Europeans, everything is a ritual. Let me give you a ritual. Look, this is what happened with Barack Obama and the spending. We know that the country been broke since 1933, right? They're talking about that's too much debt. Hell, it's been debt. You see what I'm saying? For the past 70 years. The key here is what has happened is when they had the meltdown with Lehman Brothers back in September. They got up all this money, what, 800 and something billion to pay the Lehman Brothers. But Lehman Brothers failed. Wait a minute, now hold on now. Lehman Brothers went under, but they got up 800 and something billion to save Lehman Brothers. Okay? Now they say they don't know where the money was. What had happened is this. They was in debt to England. The Queen. And what happened was, the Queen said, okay, this is the deal. As a gesture, because you can't never pay us back what you owe us. You see, as a gesture, they gave the $800 billion like a ritual back to England so that they could continue spending when Barack Obama got in. So as a result, they gave, remember that in 9/11 they had to give blood. You know, Valentine talked about that. We just want your blood. And they gave all this blood to England and some bodies. So this gesture was, we know that you can't give us back the money that you owe us. So we want to give the $800 billion as a ritual. You understand what I'm saying? And they gave the money back. Then they told Barack Obama, start spending. So all the conservative people and all the particular people saying, why is he spending all this money? Because he got the go-ahead from the Queen in England and all of them. There ain't no money. It's only debt. But they had to call in the debt. Valentine said after Katrina, He said they're going to come a time when England going to call in their marker. Now they talking about China, but England called in their marker. They started doing it in the spring of the year. You know, they had a couple other ones, Bear Stearns and all that kind of stuff. If you look at all those banks, they all go back to the Bank of England. Lehman Brothers was a subsidiary of the Bank of England. You understand what I'm saying? So what happened was, the Queen and them in the royal establishment, the Rothschilds or what have you, who knows? Crackers in charge. Put their hand down and say, now pay us. They paid them the money as a gesture. Not that they need money. See, this is what they're not telling you. Look, there's a white boy named Lindsey Williams. Told you that America can never be broke because America went in the 1950s or the 1940s and told the Arabs, you ragtag people sitting over here, you got all this oil, and you don't even know how to get it out of the ground. So what they did was Britain and America built up oil refineries. Then they said, now what we want to do is, you build it, you charge us what you want, but you got to put a certain amount of money in this bank, an international bank. And now they in this bank. So they got money from the oil money that's been going in this bank for over 50-something years, throwing interest. That means they got enough money with the oil stuff that they can never be broke. So what is this game? The first thing they did is when this shit went down with Lehman Brothers, they stepped to that white boy, Lindsey Williams. They let him run his damn mouth about this motherfucker's an expert on the oil industry. Lindsey Williams, sound like a hillbilly. They let him run his mouth for 20 years, and they stepped to his ass in September. Said, all right, now you got to shut up or either die. Because it was based on that. So they got money. This thing is a game. You see, then they tell Barack Obama, spin. Because remember now, all of them are related. All of them are cousins. All of them are cousins. And they just, and on this new one, they just traced the Queen of England back to Brazil. No, Seville, Spain. That's Moorish. And so that means when one of the Moorish kings screwed Queen Charlotte, North Carolina, that means that whole dynasty is a black dynasty. Black line. You can't never get that Negro up out of you once you get it up in the system. Once you go black, you don't go back. And that's why they hate Islam. Because it was under the Moors that turned that dynasty black. And that's why Queen and all them been against Islam. And then what really pissed it off is Dodi Fayed did that Moorish thing again with Queen Diana. Screwed Queen Diana, she was pregnant. They said, here go the Queen Charlotte shit all over again. And then the next thing you know, they in Iraq, Afghanistan, or wherever they can with the whole Arab thing. Remember, the first people to go to war with Afghanistan wasn't America, was Britain. After Britain bombed, after Afghanistan, after President then blew up their building, it was Britain that first went to war. So this whole thing is a damn game. It's a game. That's why I'm saying Barack Obama, his image as the Osirian return of black people is more important than his actual shit. If you deal with what he's dealing with on that thing, you're going to be disappointed. See what I'm saying? Don't follow. See, there's a magical world and there's a physical world. The physical world, hell, they put him up in that motherfucker. You see what I'm saying? To be the shepherd over the burning building. You see? So if you go with what's going on, you're going to be disappointed. You understand? But if you deal with the image as, it ain't about Barack Obama, it's about us rising. That's a whole nother energy. That's a whole nother energy. So give me one more question. We're going, what's that, brother?
Brother Hemmitt, what are your thoughts on the alchemy or the ritual of us as a people touching the soil on a regular basis, or touching the earth? Any oil? What soil? What? Soil, just touching the earth. As melanated people.
Touching the earth, let's put it this way. Holy ground is where you stand. Every piece of earth, every alloy, every chemical is in your blood system. It's about the melanin. The soil and all that is representative. This stuff, what we talking about, is on the inside of you. And in the inside of you. Now this is what's going on. This is what the deal is. This is what the deal is. Okay. There's the fight between Horus and Set. Set is a dormant figure of the oldest possible aspect of Africa. Harvest represents the new active figure which produces a new protein that takes us to the new form of evolution. That new protein was produced in the Africans or the indigenous people in the diaspora. I don't want to say Africans, but I don't want to get messed up on this continental thing.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because we got shit going on in China, Russia, wherever you go on the planet Earth. You see what I'm saying? We got 40,000, they got 100,000 white witches down in Australia. And come to find out they ain't white at all. The movie Australia gonna tell you about that. The movie came out in 2004 called Rabbit Proof Fence. And there's a movie called Australia that just came out with Nicole Kidman and Hugh Jackman. Get that movie, 3 hours long. The Australians, what they did. Now you get the movie Rabbit Proof Fence. It's on the Independent Film Channel. I record, I'm gonna put it on DVD tomorrow. It's a movie about, they went to them little Aborigines and they got them all up and put them in schools. And they say, we want to pair the Aborigine with a white person. They pair that one with a white person until they get it from brown, octoroon, on into white. It's about what the Jews did, what Francis Cress Welsing said, when they re-whitened themselves. Well, they got it in the movie Rabbit Proof Fence with Kenneth Branagh. He talks about what they do. They make them, they start, and in each generation, they just keep them confined and compared, and keep putting the white until they actually breed them out of society. But you can't, once you get that Negro up in you, you can't get rid of it. It's a virus. So what happens is, they got these white people walking around that's been bred into white. That's Negroes. It's black. Then they got other white folks that's looking at them as regular white folks and they're interbreeding. So they got a whole group of subcontinent of people that most of them there, they might look white, but they're a whole race of doggone black white people, all because they did this breeding process. And some of the ones in the later, when they would meet these white women, they didn't know that there was a part of a doggone breeding process that they bred some of the Aborigines out. And so they got a cesspool, you understand what I'm saying, or what they call contaminated blood. That's our ancestors. And as a result, they got the witchcraft going on down there. They had 50,000 in 2000. By 2006, they got 100,000 witches dealing with the mysteries of Isis. The number 13 is by the goddess Hecate. It's called Hecate in Egypt. Hecate, that's what all the witches worship. Hecate. I want to show you something about Hecate. This is a papyrus. It says the Greek magical papyrus. This is to keep you out of it. It's all the Egyptian papyrus that the Egyptians translated into Greece. I want to read you something here. This is what the witches all over the world, this is their top woman. She's the goddess of the moon, Hecate. I'm going to tell you what they say right now. Look at this. Y'all all right? Yeah. Listen to this right here. I saw this and I was like, oh man. The sister didn't know. They talk about, see, Hecate is the female Elegba. She's the goddess of the crossroads. She's the moon goddess. That says, oh mistress Hecate, lady of the crossroad, oh black bitch. This ain't no new shit. This is what the Egyptian priests put down. For 100 years, they at the island of Philae, Temple of Dendera, Temple of Esna, Temple of Edfu, they translated Metanetta into Greek, Latin, Hebrew, Aramaic, Coptic, Arabic. The Egyptian priests did that. The other people couldn't understand that. They didn't know what the secrets were. The Egyptian priests took 100 years and translated all that. They say, oh Hecate, oh black bitch. The bitch is the dog star. Priestess of the dog star. Does somebody call you a black bitch? That's honoring your ass. The word bitch, then the word comes of vitch, and then the word comes of witch. Priestess of the dog star. It's right in this magical papyrus. Old lady of the crossroads, old black bitch. I read this about 2 weeks ago. I was like, oh shit. That hit home. You see what I'm saying? So if somebody was honoring you when they call you an old black bitch, that means the most highest. You see, you know, when the most highest of you. So my point here is the whole witch world worship Hecate, goddess of the moon. She's a frog-headed deity in Egypt called Hecate. You see, goddess of the moon. That's a black woman called the old black bitch. Priestess of the dog star, the dog bitch, female bitch, the dog star. You see, the female bitch is Sirius C, called Emiya, which is Yeminya, the great mother, big mama, and the Dogon goddess is Emiya, Sirius C, the planet of woman that will rule in the future. That's what the Dogon say, the planet of woman that they haven't been able to, the astronomers can't find it. They say it's the planet of woman that will rule in the future. Why they can't find it? Because y'all sitting up in the motherfucking room right here. That's why they can't find it. They looking up there and you here. You see what I'm saying? This is the Greek magical papyrus by Hans Dieter Betz. You know, Hans Dieter Betz and stuff. Yeah. So give me some more questions right quick before we go to a break. What's that?
Yeah, I was wondering if you could explain the whole ritual thing that they try to do with whole Chris Brown and Rihanna.
You right on it.
Yeah.
Straight up MKO. Let me tell you what it is. This nigga snapped and damn near he was gonna kill her. Okay, this is what happened. A brother called from Panic called me from California. He called me from New York. He said, damn man. He said, you called me a year ago and told me about Rihanna and I didn't even know who the hell she was. I said, I didn't know who the hell she was either. But see, certain things strike me because I know certain things that don't register right. I'm walking through the airport. They got a whole Rihanna plastered on Vogue magazine. Vogue, you don't get on Vogue magazine. They only had 3 black women on Vogue magazine in all of the 1980s. Ain't no motherfucker coming out with no new album getting on Vogue magazine. And when I saw her on Vogue magazine, I said, wait a minute, hold on. This the new bitch they getting ready to kill. Just like they did with Aaliyah. How old is Rihanna? 21. What's her name died at 22? 22 is Maya. I looked, I was in the airport. I called what's I said, I got the new one they getting ready to kill. Rihanna. So what we got is called MK Ultra. MK Ultra. Which means you chilling one time in the wrong thing and they mash a button or signal and your ass snap. Now, let me drop this shit on you now. Because this shit is all hooked up with Barack Obama and all this other shit. Now let me tell you what went down. They were supposed to go from analog to digital and you're supposed to have a cable box on February 19th. But Barack Obama said, no, fuck that. I'm in the middle of this crisis. These crackers is on my ass. You're going to have to put that shit till June. So he stopped it. Meanwhile, they sent the signal anyway to Chris Brown. Chris Brown snaps, loses his damn mind, and tried to kill this girl. You see what I'm saying? And they got Oprah and everybody keeps saying, he's going to do it again. Remember they keep saying, if it beats one, he's going to do it again. But what it is, the MK Ultra is, this is what it is. Now you got to go get the movie in Blockbuster. It's called The Signal. Now the week that they started announcing that you needed a cable box, they put out the movie The Signal in 2007. They put out the movie The Signal. This movie is a signal where you chilling. They send a signal through the TV, the cable box, the telephone, and the radio. It's all digital. Because it ain't in the box, it's in the band. Get the movie Antitrust. It ain't in the box, it's in the band. They gave you wideband in 2000. Okay, so they send the signal in this movie, and you start killing each other. So the last 5 years they've been sending this signal through Philadelphia, and now it is named Philadelphia. So they will send a signal, black people kill each other. Then they got a signal they do every 2 years, where there'll be a young guy, he about 19, and he'll go and they'll send a signal, he'll go and rape a 90-year-old white woman. Then they got another one they send every year, every fall and every spring, where they just kill up a bunch of cops in Philly. They've been doing it in Philly for the last 5 years.
They did it yesterday.
Yeah, kill up a bunch of cops. That's a signal. So this signal, so what it is so they wanted to, so they say, well, everybody got got cable with a few Negroes that they should keep getting cut off. And then, you know, so they say, oh, we want them to have cable. It's good if you have cable. So what they say that you don't have, you can't